Everybody. So I want to give you a little poltergeist update. So the last time I really sort of felt her or anything was, probably a couple weeks ago. She's been pretty quiet. I don't know if it's because I'm like, I don't know if it's because I've been covering things up or if it's because maybe I've been channeling my energy a little bit better or something. Don't know. But I haven't felt her lately. She's been very quiet. The only thing that's happened in the last couple weeks is I went to the washroom and I came back and some of those wooden letters were on the floor and that I could have knocked them down. So I don't think she's gone, but I think she's very quiet, and I think it's possible that she heard us talking about getting the Wiccan Church of Canada in to perform a full exorcism, and then maybe that scared her off or something. I don't know. I know I'm talking about. Okay, I know it sounds crazy. I'm not crazy, and I don't believe in ghosts, but here we are, right? So I was reviewing the footage from July, where that oval thing gets pulled out of the frame. And honestly, to me, it looks like a foot. It looks like a foot in a slipper or some kind of old-fashioned shoe or something. So I was looking up what they wore on their feet in the workhouse, but I couldn't really find anything. So I started looking at the Waterloo House of Refuge.ca site and some of the stories about abuses in the home and things that kind of happened at the time. And I stumbled onto the story of Peter and Alvina Itter, 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 who ran the house in the late 1800s. So it looks like here's a really weird coincidence. Okay, so you know how the ghost name appears to be Clara or something like. And there's a small child's ghost possibly as well. I live near one of the streets that is named for, and also where this person retired. The street in question is named for the child, Gordon Clarence. There's something really weird here. I can't put it together because I don't know if I have all the pieces, but the story goes that, and it's all on the website, but Peter Itter, he was a carpenter, he did construction type work, and he and his brother, it looks like he was hired, he and his first wife, Susanna, were hired by the Waterloo Township. He built a bridge over the Speedway in 1865, so he was involved in construction. And then a call went out for the keeper and matron for the Waterloo County House of Industry and Refuge. And he was hired. He was paid $460 a year, and his wife was paid $140 a year. And I bet you she did all the work too, bastard. And so he took over as the keeper of the house, and it says he made some changes. He got them involved in, he got a telephone installed in 1884 because it would be a safety measure, and I don't know how, but it would reduce the cost of transportation. And there's a lot of correspondence and stuff back and forth, and it's really interesting to see all the little things. I honestly, I wish I was better at editing and I could just show you this stuff, but I'll put a link to the site. And there was apparently a scandal, and apparently he was very disciplined, is the word that they use with the inmates. Said that they turned a woman away because she didn't possess a written letter from the reeve of the county she was from during really hot weather, and they thought it was unfair to leave her out in a heat wave. So his first wife died in 1886, and 11 months later, he married Alvina Clem, who apparently actually worked at the workhouse. I don't know if she was an inmate there, but she worked there as a cleaner. So She did chores and cleaning around the house, and she became matron of the house at the same amount as Susanna, $140 a year. And he got a raise to $560 a year. And she started having children. And her first child was Gordon Clarence, born in 1888, but he was only 2 when he died because of water on the brain. And they had 2 other children, Lily Mae and Erwin Albert. And there started being, when Alvina started working at the house, there were physical abuse accusations against Peter and Alvina for neglecting Jemima Frame. Unfortunately, she had chronic diarrhea and she died in her bed. Just so sad. She was in her 70s. And then there was the scandal of 1893, and they were under investigation. And then there's just a list of deaths and inmates alleging abuse. And it looks like he wrote some letters defending himself to the newspaper. And they were asked to resign as the keeper and matron of the house. But he stayed on, doing construction and things, and carpentry work, so he just went back to his old profession. But here's where I thought was really interesting. Their son, Irvin, and Irvin Street is actually just a couple blocks away from my area where I live in Kitchener. And their daughter, he died in 1909. He was only like 18. And their daughter, Lily, died in 1918, paralysis of the heart. She was only in her 20s. And then Peter died in 1920 due to heart failure. And then Alvina lived on until 1949, and they were all buried in Mount Hope Cemetery. But Peter had 2 streets named after his sons. These are streets in Kitchener in the downtown core. Gordon and Irvin. And Gordon, as I said, is Gordon Clarence. And that's pretty near to where I live. And that's kind of, I don't know, Clarence, I think maybe I'm just kind of grasping at straws for a connection here. But that just seems, and Gordon is the street that he lived on. And that just seems and that's really close to where I live. That just seems too coincidental to me. That we have, possible small child ghost, we have women ghost, we have the name Clara, but Clarence, pretty close. But of course, I could just be making all this up. I could just be putting things together in my head that don't belong together. But I still think it's a really interesting coincidence, how close these names are, how close I am to the area where these streets are, and how involved this person was with the workhouse in Waterloo, and how many bodies are buried. We probably don't even know. So anyway, that's just a little interesting tidbit of Kitchener history for you, and a pretty haunted area.